If I were working in the White House and I were advising President Trump, based on all of the research I've done, all of the programs on this topic we've done, all of the questions we've asked, and I would put our work up against anybody in America on this topic over the last couple of months. What is it I would advise the president to say or do? I want to share that with you. If President Trump asked me what he should say or do this Friday, May 1st, after his current guidelines expire on April 30th, if I were his advisor, this is the plan or speech I would give him. More and more serology antibody tests continue to come in. Santa Clara, Los Angeles, New York City, Colorado, the Boston area, Italy, France, Sweden, Miami. Now we have the prison one that Aaron cited in his rundown. They all continue to show the same thing. Coronavirus is far more widespread than we knew, but much less lethal than we feared. How many more of these? How many more of these do we need to see before this stops? The answer is, this stops now. The latest numbers out of Italy. People under 65 with no underlying conditions are 0.7% of the deaths there. That's the world's worst hotspot other than China itself. Let's look at the worst hotspot here in the United States, New York City. Latest numbers out of New York City. People under 65 with no underlying conditions are only 1.8% of the deaths there. But let me give you a bigger number. We are looking at a 40% drop in GDP, which is straight out of the third world. I can't even wrap my mind around that. Not to mention all the other health concerns that have not been addressed and now are endangering people's lives. The depression, the stress on families, the rising domestic violence rates, suicides, stress on our food supply, etc. This is madness. It is madness. It is utter madness. Therefore, this is the plan. Staggered reopening now. Now. Emphasis on now. As in 10 minutes ago. We are out of patience. Here is the proposal to go into effect May 1st. Those 55 and under with healthy immune systems return to real life immediately. Everything. Everything. Everything that is willing to open, return to it. 55 and under with healthy immune systems, which is going to be the vast majority of the country, and the vast majority of the country that is responsible for the wealth creation in this country and the work that's done in this country, back to real life. Thanks for your time. Thank you for your service. Back to being America. Thank you. We launch a national effort to encourage and administer antibody testing throughout the country, just as we did with the original coronavirus testing. We focus our SARS-2 coronavirus testing and social distancing measures from this time forward on those with weakened immune systems and over the age of 55 before sending them back to reality. And they may need to be tested several times the more they're exposed to the rest of the public just to make sure that they are not infected. But if you're not, return to America, you too. Keep those 65 and older socially distanced for 42 more days. This is way overcautious, in my opinion. I don't think even this is required. But this is my attempt to err on the side of caution. Why 42 more days? Because you allow for the other demos that are not as vulnerable, you allow them to get reintegrated. And therefore, you allow for any further infection surge possibilities to make their way through not one, not two, but 3 incubation cycles of the virus. 14 days times 3 is 42 days. That's overkill, in my opinion, as we saw with the Wisconsin data that we showed you last week. And thank you to Fox News for emulating our work. You like that word? We'll go with that word. Emulating. Imitation is the highest form of flattery after all. But That's overkill. I don't think that's necessary. But to err on the side of caution, we will put the elderly through 3 different 14-day concurrently incubation cycles of the virus while society is reintegrated, just to make sure we don't rush them back to more infection vulnerability. However, there is little chance of outdoor exposure and transmission, particularly with the sun and the warmth now here. See Florida and California going nowhere near the apocalyptic models projections. Therefore, if you are in that elderly group, several studies have also shown from several countries that have confirmed the odds of indoor transmission are dramatically higher. It's not even close. There's basically 0 odds of outdoor transmission, especially just passing someone on a sidewalk. You are permitted to get out of your homes, walk your neighborhoods, enjoy the sun and the warmth. We're just going to keep you out of indoor gatherings for 42 more days just to make sure. This way, by July 1st, at the absolute latest, and that is the start of the new fiscal year for many, America is back to being America again. It is time we return America to the American people. It is time to return America to the American people. And then, Mr. President, take no questions from the douche-tastic, childish enemy media. Walk off. Nothing more needs to be said.